Let's Play is what I have written for Artist Diaries week 2. I started this on Sunday and I will be continuing to go week to week from every Sunday. So I have written so far up to Tuesday for this week's plan, and you'll see here it says, oh my god, I should have just flipped it around, I just don't want to record again. Artist Diaries, and it's going to be backwards anyway, isn't it? Okay, it's going to be Artist Diaries week 2, Let's Play. I just wrote Let's Play. As we have settled into ourselves, this week is about tending to that curiosity playfully and without thought. This week I'm unserious with certainty. Sunday. That is just off the back of the first week. I found myself, it's actually kind of crazy because I, like, as the week went on especially, and as I had gone back to rewatched the videos that I had taken, I had so much of, one, portions of my book that I've written, and two, just bits and pieces of writing, reflecting, journaling here and there that it wasn't even a realization. And that's why my last video was so short as well, because this was all already things that I had understood and done. And I'll be real, I got a little bit annoyed with myself. Because I was like, dude, why are we just like this? We're just regurgitating shit that we already know, we've already said. And no. And yeah, so it was brief. It was my me getting pissed off with myself was brief, but it was a couple of brief moments throughout the week. And nonetheless, it is still me. Like, it's important that I regurgitate it in this way, because it's a literal video fucking diary of those things that I had already learned and reflected on, elaborated and better understood out loud, seeing myself, and applied to my art and my creativity. And this was that missing piece for the first week. That being said, I wrote Artist Diaries week 2 and immediately went, let's play. So that's what we're tending to this week. Sunday, I kept what I had put down as my, I don't know what to call them, like prompts and questions, because they're not all questions, and I'm kind of avoiding the questions for this week because, like I said, it's intended to be, you know, a bit more playful and a bit more unserious. Still burping though, you know what I'm saying? Still burping. And so yeah, I mean, I've kept the prompt from last Sunday, which was in chapter 1, which is share something new, be seen. So I'm going to do that. This is a part of my reflection process, and I got this from a online creator. Her name's Mika Briney. I've been following her for years. But she just popped up, and I think it was a video of her sharing these questions, which are for, because we've been speaking about expansion, which are for personal expansion, spiritual ascension, and reflection on either past situations, past relationships, friendships, whatever it may be. And I'm just going to read out what they are. And I don't know. Yeah, okay. I'll read it out. I'll read out what I've written as well, because this one's really good. And I have a I have a record of them for other previous times, and I also like to go back and see what I've written previously and see how from this following situation I have like elaborated on that or grown from that, or there's some points I'll look at, and it's a really great way to keep yourself accountable see what has changed and ensure that you aren't feeling any guilt around it as well. If you're looking at something and going, oh my God, how did I not see that? Yeah. So the first question is, what have I learned from this? I won't read out all of them, but I'm just going to go through a couple. To listen carefully and ask the right questions when somebody is revealing something about themselves with confidence. I can acknowledge what growth. I can acknowledge where growth and dissonance coexist. Authenticity is not present in a jealous, competitive spirit, and it is imperative to alignment with me. My spirit forces people to expose themselves and say what they mean to tell me who they are. Honesty is unconditional love and freedom. If my voice is catering to somebody's comfortability, it is entirely useless. People will tell me what they need. I'm firmly grounded to decide whether I will fulfill that need and how I will, if so, authentically. Just go over to the next one. No, actually, do you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna go back. Fun only ever acted as a temporary band-aid to what your intuition knows. It is simply not worth it. Accountability exists in both depth and authenticity. Nobody can ever fucking take my life force energy. My power is protected as fuck. And that's not funny, that's true. Without proximity, there is no proximity. I have my back at all angles. Clock it. What are the gifts in this situation is the next question. So, and like genuinely, I highly, if I recommend to do anything in reflection, it is these questions, straight up. So first one, what have I learned from this? Second one is, what are the gifts in this situation? First, I've put remembering my voice, regulated nervous system, safe, honest communication, listening to my body loudly, self-expression in its most free and authentic form, complete and total utter self-devotion to my highest evolution, alignment. How will I do things differently next time? And this one is, and I find this with every single time I do it, this one is kind of where I pause, because honest, like you have to be honest with yourself when you're thinking like, how I do things differently next time. Well, there won't be a next time. So take everything you've just written. What have I learned from this? How will I do things differently next time? It's going to look different. It's going to look different because you've learned something and you're breaking that pattern. So how will I do things differently next time? I put recognize aligned flow versus transaction. And, oh my God, what's that? Recognize aligned flow versus transaction. I crossed out, I initially wrote recognize exchange versus transaction, and then I crossed out exchange and put aligned flow. Receive more, but never more than I am able to give. Trust the first time. Selfishness without excuses or over-explanation. I have released all relationships that have allowed for a jealous and comparative spirit. That is no longer one I reflect back. I only compare the lessons, growth, and evolution in myself, not those who contributed to them. Clock exactly what it is, and that's if that was a full point. Clock exactly what it is. Clock exactly what it is that is not aligning with speed, ease, trust, and knowing. Sometimes I even, never mind. Sometimes I'll put things down and then I go and read it back and I'll go, what the fuck are you saying? How does this aid in my ascension is the next question. In authentic alignment, I attract what I am. Action aligned with my expression, creation, and purpose. Decentering my mother, father, and blood relatives. And this is speaking to me when I say our, because I would say that I run a strict program. Our strict program becomes cool, fun, devoted, disciplined with love, and in alignment with the aforementioned, which is expression, creation, purpose. And I know where I love to explain. And then the last question is, how am I accountable for what happened? By not expressing what I was feeling honestly initially, by letting the good mask the undeniable, self-blame, by giving and not receiving, denying imbalance, forgetting I hold infinite power, trusting, taking action, refusing to over-explain, speak to the truth without completely revealing it. I've given more than enough. Listening to all of myself. Certainty. Marrying my logic, intuition, nervous system, and energy, spirit, and soul. So I'm going to run it back. First question, what have I learned from this? Second question, what are the gifts in this situation? Third question, how does this aid in my ascension? And last question, how am I accountable for what happened? Keep those in your pocket. Use them when you feel like they're needed. And Bob's your fucking uncle, babe. Bob is your fucking uncle. Cool. So Sunday, share something new, be seen. That was my something new, be seen. And creative rejuvenation, not recovery, which, I mean, so Sunday is, part of Sunday is rejuvenation. That is sort of the energy of the sun and Sunday. Today, I didn't really do anything. I slept in late. I watched a movie. I didn't even finish it. I watched Black Klansman, and I got McDonald's for dinner. There's nothing up here. It was a chocolate shake. It was fucking delicious. And I didn't really do anything, but it feels like I've been rejuvenating. I had my first it wasn't an art exhibition, but it was my first showing at an art gallery yesterday. And this is actually, okay, I'm going to tell a story because it's actually a really beautiful one. And so a girl that I follow with and mutuals with on TikTok, she had posted a video some time ago dropping off some paintings at a art gallery. And I was like, hold on, that's literally like in my area. And I commented that, and they hadn't opened yet, so she was dropping them off for an opening night. So I went to the opening night and literally like purchased a painting there, went to go pick it up, had been like chatting a bit with Steph, who's the owner of the gallery, most beautiful woman in the entire world, honestly, swear to God. And that's what I'm saying, like when these things happen and you start finding that alignment, you notice these things, because it's like I could have gone to the gallery and it could have been like, I don't know, an old man who's standoffish as fuck and didn't want a bar of me. But it wasn't. It was like this kind, warm, beautiful woman who was like, I need to hear more about your art. Like, we should like come and have a chat, and we can maybe talk about putting some things in there. And I was like, hell yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of how I manifested putting, like, I'm a self-taught artist, putting my shit in a gallery for the first time. Yesterday my first piece of art in there that sold was purchased by Taylor. So her artist name is Mayhouse, Haus. And she also makes fucking incredible pieces. And she's just beautiful soul. So she's purchased the first piece. And how fucking full circle is that? How fucking full circle is that? I found out, like, had I not seen her TikTok, had she not been out there putting her shit out, putting her energy into what she's doing and putting it the fuck online, wouldn't have seen the video, wouldn't have known about the opening night, wouldn't have gone in, wouldn't have gotten chatting, wouldn't have, like, I drive the pieces, yeah, but everything that is happening outside of me that I'm not aware of puts them into place. I just follow it. And so I went in yesterday to the gallery and Steph's like, your first piece sold. It was Taylor bought it. And I was like, that is just, how good is that? How good is that? So that's just a side note, little story, but I think a really important one, because we do need to remember it sometimes, is what pieces are being put in place that we're not aware of outside of us in the universe. Ones that are working in our favor, really, really incredibly in our favor, and other ones that are working to protect us and for us to take action on to remove those things from our lives as well. And then it's just a little harmonious bunch. So yeah, creative rejuvenation, not recovery. I'm personally unmedicated today, so it's a sidebar note is fairly easy. And I'm gonna leave it there. I've put junk journal down, so I'm actually not gonna go. I was gonna sort of show you my junk journal, but I'm gonna get it out and I'm just gonna do my junk journaling, be a little scrapbook girl for tonight. So I'll see you on Moon Day. And on the topic of Let's Play is new playlist for meditative manifestation. Write what you see that is new and stands out. So I'm excited for that because it's just fun. I'm just fun. I like giving myself fun little activities, you know?